What's up, guys? The Lazy Goldmaker here. We are previewing Cataclysm Professions, and today we're going to take a look at Inscription. So I already covered part of this, the big item, I think, or the most infamous one, the Darkmoon Card of Destruction for the Darkmoon decks. We're not going to talk about the rest of what Inscription has to offer today. So, first off, obviously, we are getting some new glyphs. Sources vary a little bit, like you have the Colossal Smash. This is from the vendors in Twilight Highlands. Then you have other recipes that come from Northern Inscription research, like this one, Glyph of Unleashed Lightning. I haven't checked if all of these are in phase 1 or not. We will have to see, but there are some of them might be discoverable now, or they're going to be discoverable after the actual expansion launches. We will have to see. Glyphs have changed, but they're still going to be good. People are still going to need glyphs, but they're just going to need it once. So overall, like, much lower sale rate than what we saw in Wrath, but still something that's fairly profitable overall. Then you have some gear options. So if you look sort by item level, we can find the gear options. These ones, I think, are from a later patch due to the higher item level. But we have the 346 items. These are essentially pre-raid gearing. You have relics. So that's going to be for classes who can equip relics. Going to be for druids and paladins, at least. Might be shamans as well. They're going to be useful, obviously. Item level 346, that's dungeon level gear. So these are pretty interesting for that reason. Then you also have some offhands, Dungeoneering Guide, Divine Companion, also good, and they don't require the items from the dungeons, from heroic dungeons to craft, at least not as far as we can tell here. So Dungeoneering Guide just requires volatiles and Inferno Ink, so it's not going to be too hard to get your hands on the materials required for this, which is pretty nice. I do expect these to be decent sellers. People are going to want to get 346 gear right away. That's really good. So if these aren't too expensive, then they're going to be selling. Then you also have the Battle Tome, which is a PvP offhand, slightly lower item level, but it does have resilience. So people are going to want this for PvP gearing, obviously. And that was a fantastic market at the beginning of Wrath. And then you have some level 81 pieces that people might want to equip. This is 316. So this is definitely significant upgrades in terms of leveling. Like, grab this, slam this on. At level 81, you're going to likely, at least compared to your ICC gear, you're going to get a significant upgrade. So these could be good as well. Could be some nice sellers here if you can get these out, but no guarantees. Then you have the Rune Scroll. As far as I can tell here, at least on Wowhead, we only have the Rune Scroll of Fortitude. This is essentially the stamina buff. You can craft it. It's expensive to craft. I don't really see this being a big deal. 5 Inferno Ink, that's really expensive in terms of herbs. Yeah, don't see much for this one. Then we have this Mysterious Fortune card, and I wanted to look at some old posts here. This is 11 years ago. Someone opened up 20,000 of these. So the Mysterious Fortune card, it's an item. When you click it, use it, it has a short cast time, and then it turns into one out of multiple different fortune cards that you can vendor. The only thing you can do is vendor them. The most expensive one vendors for 5,000 gold. So essentially most of the value is from the most expensive ones. So he sold everything. He did 20,000 cards, and he got 45,000 gold back. They're going to cost you 1 Blackfellow Ink to craft. They are 1 Blackfellow Ink and 1 Resilient Parchment. So depending if inks are like 1 gold, then these are 1 gold to craft, and you can make about 2 gold per. If you want to vendor them, you might be able to sell them for more on the auction house to people who like gambling. You really have to click your face off if you want to do this. 20,000, that was 2 hours, and you can make maybe double your gold at best. So that's like 20,000 gold, 10,000 gold per hour. I don't think it's a great gold making method unless you are doing it completely AFK or whatever. But had to mention it. You also have the Adventurer's Journal, which is a consumable, gives you a buff for an hour while leveling. none of them are particularly strong. Maybe 10% quest experience is the best one. I don't see people going for this. It's kind of cheap, so people might buy it, but like it's not a huge deal. The last item I wanted to mention is this one, the Dust of Disappearance. This one is needed to remove glyphs or swap glyphs. You need the Dust of Disappearance. It's pretty cheap to craft. It can also be bought from the vendor. They're not on the vendor yet. But I mean, WoW has this as 12 gold. If it's 12 gold from the vendor, then people are only going to buy this from scribes because it's 1 black fellow ink for 3 dusts. These are going to be very high volume item. That's quite good to sell, but not going to make you rich by itself. It's a nice one. You can definitely utilize this to level inscription quite cheaply for the levels where this is relevant. This is something I sold a lot of back in original Catab, so this one is kind of nice. Overall, I think inscription is pretty good. I mean, darkmoon cards I've made an entire separate video about them. Then you have glyphs, which are still good. And some gear options, which are usually pretty good early on. Like this is a really strong item level upgrade. Just getting instantly to 346 to speed clear heroics and get into the raid, that's going to be huge for a lot of players. So I think overall inscription is looking pretty good, but the main value here is for sure the darkmoon cards. Crank out darkmoon cards, sell 359 item level decks. They're going to be moving off the shelves at really high prices, most likely. So that's where the real money is in this profession. But I do think it's pretty good overall.